The night then, as you understand that England at those latitudes, you only had about 4 hours of darkness at night, and we were on double daylight saving time. So although when we loaded the planes, got into our cereals and so forth, it was still dark, and you still see photographs of the C-47s taking off. And while it's still light. And again, it's due to the double daylight saving time, only about 4 hours of darkness at that time of year in the summertime. So we loaded then on the planes and took off for Normandy. We at that time it took 9 planes to haul a company. A company was about 120 men, made up 3 platoons and a headquarters. You had your attachments, your medics, forward observers from the artillery stuff. So it took 9 planes to haul this company, this unit. And we would fly in a V of V's. It was 3 in the lead, 3 in the back, 3 to the right front. And this train, by the way, of C-47 just stretched for miles, miles and miles. And we were flying at an altitude of around 800 feet actual altitude. The lead plane was the one that had the Rebecca, we called it at that time, and that was a receiver that the people on the ground, the pathfinders, were sending out and emitting a signal. And the lead plane, the other planes, of course, were supposed to guide on this one plane. Well, as we hit the coast, we, by the way, flew near the Guernsey and Jersey Islands and swung around generally on a southbound or south, I guess you'd call it southeast course, to turn generally northwest to come over the Cotentin Peninsula and drop our people. Then the planes would go back and pick up the gliders and bring in the second serial. Well, we hit a cloud cover as we hit Normandy, and of course, at about 800 feet actual altitude, when those 20 millimeter anti-aircraft started firing, it was just brutal. It was just murder. Our plane got hit. I hope you never get in an airplane that's been hit. It sounded like your head's in a bucket and somebody's beating on the bucket. What is pouncing off the wings or whatever, I guess, whatever. Anyway, all we got was a bell to get out of the airplane. What you should get's about a 20-minute red light to stand up, hook up, check your equipment, get your bundle in the door, and get out of there. And all we got was a bell. Well, the jump master kicked the bundle out. He went out. My second gunner got ahead of me, and it was just bad. We all got out. The plane went down. We got out. It did go down.
Pilots get out?
I don't know. I don't know. I digress a little bit. I ran into a fella in '94 when we went back to Normandy. He claims that if you'd give him the tail number on any C-47 that's ever been built, that he could find it. I didn't want to, I guess, is as good answer as I can give you. Also on this trip to Normandy, some French friends had contacted me. One man was a gendarme on active duty, and he made a study of those downed airplanes. And you look at the map that he made, and the Cotentin Peninsula looks like it's freckled with these planes that are down. So that included all of the Allied airplanes. And to answer your question, I don't know what happened to the crew, and I guess I'm remiss in not wanting to find out. It's just something personal, I guess.
Right.
Well, at any rate, when we did get a break in the weather, flying through the clouds and the fog, we jumped. It was about 1:15 in the morning. Big moon shining. And as I went out of the airplane, traditionally, my machine gun was in this bundle and this ammunition. I had always been the first one on that bundle, always. And we had a double-headed little flashlight on it that had a little piece of cardboard under the clip so that when it got the opening shock, the thing would come on. You barely could see it. And I remember looking over my shoulder, and I saw the bundle hit the ground. I knew I was on it. But when I got down into the hedgerows, my parachute canopy went over the trees, and I was down right beside the hedgerow, so my fanny was just off the ground. So I literally was kind of swinging with the weight on my canopy. And these old T5 parachutes at that time only had a snap on it and snaps on the leg, so that you did not have the quick release like we had in Holland. So I got out of the parachute and tried to orient myself to find the bundle. You understand there's this 20 millimeter fire going all around. There's a lot of noise and confusion. We had 3 or 4 methods of identification. One was the clicker up here in our jumpsuits. We had a password called thunder, whistle was the sign, countersign was thunder. And it wasn't until 94 that I finally figured out, or someone mentioned that the reason for that was Germans, in German, whistle would be whistle, a double V kind of a sound, and they can't do the t sound, a t, it would be, so thunderer would not, you could be able to distinguish the accents. That was the read. I was kind of fine tuning it, you know. But in any case, I was trying to find my assembly area. And when I was looking over and through across this field behind a hedgerow, I saw my good friend Robert Johnson, who was in my company. Robert got killed in Holland also. And he had a World War I bayonet on his rifle. It was a big old long thing. And despite all the passwords and the clickers and all of this sort of stuff, my sign was, "Hey, Johnson." And we made yeah, and it worked, you know, and we got together. Now, here's a couple of 17, 18-year-old kids wandering around and all this firing and shooting. Every time you'd move, something would fire, an automatic weapon. The Germans had an MG42 and a 34 that were just magnificent weapons. They were just outstanding. Beautifully manufactured, well-manned. And every time we'd move, we'd get fired on. So,
and do you think it was a directed fire, or was it just?
Well, not necessarily. It seemed like they had a policy. Anything, well, by this time, you know, everything was confused, including us. And so were they. And that may have been a plus. Well, if you can say, well, we occupied the ground when it was over. Yeah, I guess it was a plus. In any case, everybody was just trigger happy. Yeah. All right. So we would, you know, wander around. We were trying to find some of our people. And of all the people that dropped on that drop zone, about 16,000 people jumped on that peninsula that night, and I found one. I found Robert John, or he found me, one or the other. In any case, we wandered around for several days, dodging these German patrols. We wanted to find our people. We weren't heroes, but we were practically hopeless or helpless.
You never found your bundle either, did you?
Never did.
So you didn't have your
Never did find that machine gun.
Did you have a sidearm or?
I had a carbine. Let me make a long story kind of short. In those days, the '03 rifle was the only thing that would fire a rifle grenade, either an anti-tank or anti-personnel grenade. And the assistant squad leaders at that time carried that '03 rifle, which meant that when you attach the grenade launcher to it, that it was extremely long, and you couldn't really break it down, get it into a bundle. So my friend Milani from California was our assistant squad leader. He put his '03 in the bundle with my machine gun, because I was always first on that bundle. I gave Milani my folding stock carbine, which would fit in a scabbard, and I just had the empty scabbard. So I never saw Milani again either. He got captured, by the way. He was sprung by the Russians up on the Elbe River and did get back to California, but I haven't seen him. In any case, I did not get to the bundle, which meant that I was unarmed. That's essentially what it was. Johnson had, of course, I had my hand grenades and a Hawkins mine, which is a little land mine about the size of a tobacco can, and the gambling grenades, which were made up of plastic stuck inside of a oilcloth pipe container. You take the top off of it and you throw it, and when you throw it, a little piece of engineering tape comes loose, and it's armed. And I get to that in a minute, but that's what I dropped with, plus some rice. We took the musette bags, and they were hanging under our reserves, and that had our rations and stuff in it. Anyway, we had the M1 rifle, 96 rounds of ammunition, and the hand grenades.